There's plenty to look forward to with the upcoming DC movies and shows. The DCU is getting a fresh start, bringing new versions of Superman, Batman, and more. Gunn told Variety that DC plans to keep things rolling with 2 live-action movies, 1 animated movie, and multiple live-action and animated series each year. So, let's jump right in and see what's coming. Superman. Superman is kicking off James Gunn's DCU Chapter 1 on July 11, 2025. No DC universe is complete without the Man of Steel, and Gunn is making sure his vision starts strong by directing the movie himself. David Corenswet steps into the iconic role, following legends like Christopher Reeve, Henry Cavill, and Brandon Routh. He's joined by Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, setting the stage for an epic showdown. The first Superman trailer, packed with Easter eggs, has us hyped for his return. There's been plenty of speculation about how the film will shape the DCU, but we're here with the real details. The trailer dropped in December 2024, giving us a first look at Superman in action, whether he's with family, Lois, or bloodied up from an intense fight. And from what we've seen, it looks amazing. The trailer didn't reveal much about the plot, but we do know that Lex Luthor is the main villain and that Superman will likely be navigating his different identities. Definitely exciting stuff. In late January 2025, a new Superman teaser dropped, giving us fresh footage, like Lex Luthor stepping out of a helicopter and Superman soaring over an icy landscape. As for the story, details are still under wraps, but we do know the film follows a young Clark Kent as a reporter at the Daily Planet, exploring how he balances his Kryptonian and human heritage. It's not an origin story, though. Beyond that, things are still a mystery. Based on the cast, we can assume Lex Luthor is the main villain, or at least one of them, and other key DC characters will likely make appearances. Since the trailer puts a big spotlight on Lex, it's looking more and more like he'll be Superman's primary foe this time around. We also have an idea of which comics inspired the movie. According to The Direct's senior editor David Thompson, Corenswet said the film takes inspiration from Superman for All Seasons and All-Star Superman, though the story itself is completely original. James Gunn even shared a set photo featuring All-Star Superman being read on set. On this day in 1938, the world met its first superhero thanks to Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Superman became a symbol of hope, not just for his strength, but for his character and determination to always do what's right. As for the cast, Sean Gunn has been confirmed as Maxwell Lord in the DCU, though it's unclear if he'll appear in Superman. One exciting cameo is Will Reeve, the youngest son of Christopher Reeve, who will appear as a TV reporter. Could he cross paths with Clark Kent on the Daily Planet? It's a fitting tribute, as his father famously brought Superman to life in 4 films between 1978 and 1987. I am really looking forward to this movie. Henry Cavill was a great Superman, but he was wasted in the DCEU. Now, it's time to move on, and James Gunn seems to be setting up David Corenswet for success. One big improvement is the tone. Superman isn't meant to be dark and brooding like Batman. The DCEU kept telling us he was a symbol of hope, but it was hard to buy when he was smashing through buildings mid-fight. This movie actually feels like he's that beacon of hope, especially in the scene with the little boy calling out to him. Story-wise, Man of Steel was decent, but Batman vs. Superman was a bloated commercial for future movies. This film seems to be focusing on character development and keeping universe connections subtle, which is exactly what it should be doing. Lois and Clark's romance already feels more convincing in this trailer than it did in 3 entire movies. As for Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult actually looks like the cunning, manipulative villain he's supposed to be, unlike Eisenberg's take, which felt like an over-the-top attempt to outdo Jim Carrey's Riddler. Some people are weirdly mad about Krypto being in the movie, which is ridiculous. Gunn made us love a talking raccoon and a sentient tree, but a superpowered dog is where they draw the line? Please. I'm still unsure about this movie cramming in 4 other superheroes, but as long as they don't overshadow Clark's arc or turn this into another BVS situation, it could work. Before we dive into the next movie about another Kryptonian, here's a quick heads up. You can become a channel member and get early access to videos, plus have a say in which movies and shows we cover through exclusive members-only community posts. It's a great way to support the channel, but okay, enough of the shameless plug, let's get back to it. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. As part of Gunn and Safran's new DC lineup, we're getting a fresh take on Supergirl. Inspired by Tom King's comic series, this science fiction adventure will introduce a version of the character that's very different from what fans are used to. Gunn explained to Variety that while Superman was raised on Earth by loving parents, Supergirl grew up on a piece of Krypton, witnessing death and destruction for the first 14 years of her life. House of the Dragon star Millie Alcock is taking on the role, and Gunn shared a first look at her in January 2025. Fans won't have to wait long to see her in action. She's reportedly set to appear in Superman as well. Aside from Millie Alcock's Supergirl, the cast includes Matthias Schoenaerts as Krem of the Yellow Hills and Eve Ridley as Ruthie Mary Knoll, a young girl Supergirl encounters on her journey. David Krumholtz and Emily Beecham play her Kryptonian parents, Zor-El and Allura. Jason Momoa makes a cameo as Lobo, the infamous alien bounty hunter, and Krypto, Superman's loyal superpowered dog, will also appear. I can't wait to see Momoa as Lobo. If you don't know, Lobo is basically the ultimate space biker badass, a Tsarnian with insane strength who lives for violence, booze, and destruction. His name literally translates to "he who devours your entrails and thoroughly enjoys it," which tells you everything you need to know. He's arrogant, selfish, and only follows the letter of his promises. Never more, never less. Oh, and he wiped out his entire species just because he felt like it. Lobo's got that iconic look, chalk white skin, red eyes, and a wild mane of hair that's gone from purple to gray in full-on rocker style over the years. He started out in a leotard. Yeah, weird. But now he rocks biker leather, pirate gear, or even a flight suit. His arsenal? A titanium chain with a hook, tons of guns, and grenades. Because why not? Despite being a ruthless killer, he has a soft spot for space dolphins. Seriously. And he's got some weird friendships, like with a bounty hunter named Jonas Glim, a bail bondswoman hairdresser, and even a dog, that he repeatedly insists isn't his. He's had beef with Superman, Deathstroke, and even Santa Claus. And yeah, he's also wrecked a diner so many times that the owners ended up making a fortune just feeding the workers rebuilding the city around them. Lobo's had some wild storylines, fighting his own clone, becoming a rock star, even trying out being a priest, which obviously ended in chaos. No matter what, he's always causing destruction wherever he goes, and I can't wait to see what Momoa brings to the role to live when the movie hits theaters in the US on June 26, 2026. Clayface. Yes, DC Studios is officially moving forward with a Clayface movie, with Dr. Sleep director Mike Flanagan writing the script. While details on the plot are still under wraps, filming is expected to begin early next year. Matt Reeves and Lynn Harris are producing the film through their company, Sixth and Idaho Productions. Warner Brothers has already locked in a release date. Clayface is set to hit theaters on September 11th, 2026. Flanagan has been passionate about a Clayface project for a while. Back in 2021, he tweeted about wanting to make a horror thriller tragedy centered around the character. He officially pitched DC Studios in 2023, but with his hands full directing a new Exorcist film and developing a Carrie series for Amazon, DC is currently looking for a director to take over. An announcement on that front is expected soon. One of Batman's oldest villains, Clayface has gone through many versions since his debut in 1940. Originally, he was a failed actor who turned to crime, wearing a mask made of clay. His shape-shifting abilities weren't introduced until 1961, and over the years, he's been portrayed in multiple live-action and animated Batman projects. Ron Perlman voiced him in Batman the Animated Series, Brian McManaman played him in Gotham, and Alan Tudyk currently voices the character in Max's Harley Quinn animated series. The green light for Clayface is another sign that DC Studios heads James Gunn and Peter Safran are embracing a wide variety of storytelling approaches. Gunn recently said that DC should be able to do everything, from family-friendly stories to darker, more mature projects. This means Clayface could lean fully into horror, which would be a perfect match for Flanagan's signature style. The Batman 2. The sequel to The Batman is still a mystery, but it's definitely happening. Matt Reeves is back to write and direct, and Robert Pattinson will once again suit up as the Dark Knight. However, beyond Pattinson, no other cast members have been confirmed yet. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Reeves is also meeting with writers and directors to develop villain-focused movies, with names like Professor Pig, Clayface, and Scarecrow being mentioned. Despite the major changes at DC, The Batman 2 is safe, and both James Gunn and Reeves have denied rumors that Pattinson's Batman will be folded into the main DCU. Instead, the Batman films will stay within their own separate universe, now officially labeled as DC Elseworlds. Unfortunately, fans will have to wait a bit longer, as the movie has been pushed back to October 1st, 2027. Pattinson has said he knows the plot, so progress is being made. Sergeant Rock. Luca Guadagnino is set to direct a World War II movie based on Sergeant Rock, with Challenger's writer Justin Kuritsky's handling the script. While no actors have been confirmed yet, Daniel Craig was rumored to be attached at one point. Speaking to Deadline, DC Studios co-chief Peter Safran praised the project, saying, "What we love about Sergeant Rock is the opportunity to tell a story about heroism and conflict in a compelling and unique way. Justin really wrote a wonderful screenplay, and that's what catapulted that project to the forefront." Sergeant Rock is one of DC's most legendary war heroes, a tough and battle-hardened soldier who led Easy Company through the European theater during World War II. Created by Robert Kanigher and Joe Kubert, Rock was known for his grit, leadership, and unwavering dedication to his men. Though his exact unit details varied across comics, he was often associated with the Big Red One, 1st U.S. Infantry Division, and his backstory portrayed him as a Pittsburgh steelworker who enlisted after Pearl Harbor. Throughout the years, Rock became a symbol of battlefield heroism, rising quickly through the ranks as his superiors were lost in combat. He carried the weight of responsibility, guiding his men through North Africa, Italy, and Northwest Europe. His leadership wasn't just about strategy, he was a mentor, showing respect to his officers while ensuring his squad had the best chance of survival. His famous tagline, "Nothing's easy in Easy Company," reflected the brutal reality of war. Rock's influence in DC Comics extends beyond the battlefield. Stories like Sergeant Rock: The Lost Battalion connected him to real-life war hero Audie Murphy, while recent DC events, like the New Golden Age, linked him to supernatural threats, proving his legacy endures beyond traditional war comics. With Luca Guadagnino directing and Justin Kuritsky's writing the upcoming Sergeant Rock movie, it'll be interesting to see how they bring this complex, no-nonsense soldier to life on the big screen. Teen Titans. DC Studios is officially bringing the Teen Titans to the big screen. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Anna Nogueira, who is also writing Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, is penning the script for the upcoming film. Details about the project are still under wraps, including the lineup of heroes and casting choices. Given the Titans' long history in comics, animation, and live-action TV, fans are eager to see which version of the team will be featured. Will it focus on the classic group with Robin, Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven, and Cyborg? Or will it take inspiration from Titans on Max? Either way, a Teen Titans movie is long due, and I am glad they have plans for it. Swamp Thing. DC Studios' Swamp Thing movie is still shrouded in mystery, but what we do know is that it will explore the origins of the iconic, eerie character. James Mangold is set to direct, and he's teased that the film will have a much darker tone compared to other DC projects. Mangold has also suggested that Swamp Thing won't be heavily connected to the larger DC universe, which could mean a more standalone, horror-driven approach. Given his track record with films like Logan, he can really do something great with this classic supernatural anti-hero. I really hope they stick to the original Swamp Thing story with Alex Olsen. In this version, Alex was a brilliant scientist in early 1900s Louisiana, happily married to Linda. But his assistant, Damian Ridge, was secretly in love with Linda and decided to get rid of Alex. He messed with Alex's chemicals, causing an explosion that killed him, then dumped his body in the swamp. Damian used Linda's grief to convince her to marry him, but things took a dark turn when Alex came back, transformed into a plant-like monster. He took revenge on Damian, but Linda didn't recognize him and ran off in fear, leaving Alex to wander the swamp alone. The Authority. The Authority is about to shake up the DC universe in a big way. James Gunn and Peter Safran are bringing this brutal superhero team from the Wildstorm universe into the DCU, and fans are buzzing. Originally spinning out of Stormwatch in the 90s, The Authority was created by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch. They're not your typical heroes. They take down threats with extreme force and don't play by the usual superhero rules. The team includes Jenny Sparks, who controls electricity and barely ages, Jack Hawksmoor, who can communicate with cities, Apollo and Midnighter, a superpowered couple often compared to Superman and Batman, Swift, a winged warrior, and the Engineer, who's basically a walking nanotech machine. Over the years, The Authority has influenced comics and even Hollywood, inspiring grittier takes on superheroes. Now, with the team officially joining the DCU, it'll be interesting to see how they fit into Gunn's vision, especially with crossovers with Superman and the Bat family. In fact, we know that the Engineer has a role in Superman. With her history as both a hero and an anti-hero, it's anyone's guess where her loyalties will land in Gunn's movie. He's called the Authority a superhero team, so Spica can't be totally evil, but there's definitely room for moral ambiguity. It'll be interesting to see if she crosses paths with Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. Gunn loves diving into the darker sides of characters. He's actually great at handling morally gray figures. Bringing the Engineer into Superman is a bold move, but it's also a pretty inspired one. This just proves that Gunn isn't here to rehash the same Superman villains we've seen before. He wants to dig into the weirder parts of DC Comics. If his work on Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad is any indication, he knows how to make offbeat characters work for both hardcore fans and casual audiences. Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman. J.J. Abrams and Black Panther writer Ta-Nehisi Coates were set to team up for a Black Superman movie, and back in late 2022, Warner Bros. Discovery reassured fans that it was still happening. But since then, there's been radio silence. Plus, James Gunn didn't bring it up when announcing DCU Chapter 1, which makes things feel pretty uncertain. One thing's for sure though, Henry Cavill won't be stepping into the role. That's a wrap for today. Drop your thoughts on DC's plans in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more updates coming your way on this and other exciting movies and shows. We'll catch you next time.